Next event, the men's 200-meter butterfly, an event that has absolutely been owned for over a decade by world record holder Michael Phelps. And now it is time for somebody else to step into those shoes, because we don't think Phelps is going to swim this any longer. A look at the start list: Chris Nolan, Jesper Bjork out of Sweden making the trip over to compete, Justin Lynch, Bobby Bollier out of Stanford, Tom Luxiger out of North Baltimore, 6'2", 23 years of age. And coming out on the deck, Olympic gold medalist in the 200-meter backstroke, 5th in London in this event, is Tyler Clary.
Tyler, always been a solid butterflyer. Big part of that 400 IM success he has had in years past. Front 2 legs for him were always so fantastic.
Tom Luxiger will be to his inside in lane 5, personal best 155.57. The world record by Phelps is 151.51, set last the World Championships in Rome in 2009.
Tom Luxiger just had a sensational last summer, 2013, made that World Championship team, finished 5th at the World Champs, and just has been swimming so well. Now with North Baltimore.
The wind continues to howl. The pool was fairly glassy just before the first event came out on the deck and was announced, and just over the last couple of minutes the wind has picked up once again. Cold front blew through the valley here in the Phoenix and Mesa area. Temperatures dropped from 85, 90 degrees yesterday down into the low 70s, but that's not as big a factor as is the wind. Particularly, as you mentioned, Rowdy, for the backstrokers, and obviously the flyers don't need to worry about it. 4 lengths of the pool, 200-meter butterfly.
Hard to get a sense, at least from on camera as I'm looking at my screen, it's hard to get a sense of how choppy that water really is. And you mentioned in the other heat, Paul, but it is really tough out there. I mean, it is, those waves are really developing in a 50-meter pool. And
look at the flags, and if you had any doubt, these are not special effects. And Rowdy and I are not calling this swim meet in a wind tunnel. I mean, it is really, really tough conditions and a fairly even, as you can see. First 130 meters or so, 100 meters or so of this 200-meter butterfly.
I think a lot of people around the world are going to look at this meet and wonder why the times are not that fast. And I think, obviously, this is one of those reasons. Sort of a preseason meet, but still, this is wrecking havoc out there on these swimmers, because they have to adjust their stroke slightly on each 50. Because you're fighting that wind, you're fighting the waves going down the pool now, like Tyler Clary is, and then you have to make a slight adjustment coming back, where you're kind of going with the current, you're going with the wind. So it definitely can play tricks on you, and Tyler Clary doing a good job of managing that right now, as he's really starting to inch out just a little bit more. It's actually Luxiger.
Tom Luxiger in lane 5, Tyler Clary outside of him or below him, if you will, in lane 6. Luxiger led it by about the same margin through the first 100 meters, and he turns for home, and this one's got to feel
Clary, though,
pretty easy as Clary.
And Clary's starting to look very good, and he goes right by Luxiger right there. You can see him. Now Luxiger's gotten back into it, and now you've got 3 or 4 swimmers right in the thick of things.
Bollier in 4, Luxiger in 5, and Tyler Clary. It looks like Clary's got it. Clary's got a slight lead. Luxiger there trying to get him over the last couple of meters. And it was Tyler Clary who takes it by 1/100th of a second. What an outstanding race, and Luxiger, a little bit frustrated there, but Tyler Clary, 2 minutes and 39/100ths of a second. You're right. People will look at these times around the world and wonder what's going on until they realize it was into a windstorm, at least swimming into the wind.
Look at that right there. You just look at the flags. Forget about looking at the swimmers, but that's what's facing them. Now, most people will say, well, the wind's not going to hurt the swimmer or affect the swimmer because the swimmer's in the water, but yes, it does. And stroke itself, it affects it. It makes you kind of fight that wind as you're going down the pool and butterfly like that. It's not going to hurt them coming back, but you can see the bend in those flags. We're going to make a big point of it in the backstroke, but Luxiger looks so good there coming off that wall, but then all of a sudden Tyler Clary made that move right there, pulled ahead of him, toward the end, and then look at the finish, hanging on with every stroke. What a great race that was. 15/100ths of a second separated the top 3 swimmers.
Tyler Clary wins that by 1/100th of a second. First of all, Tyler, talk to us about the conditions, and did this wind affect the way you approached the race, and did you feel it out there?
I feel it now. It's making me feel like I need a t-shirt on. Yeah, keep the camera level up. No, it was actually kind of fun. I told Tom it was kind of a weird race. He really had to play the wind there, and I wanted to see if I could kind of hold off a little bit on the third 50 and see if I could not use the wind to my advantage on the last 50, and looks like it worked out.
Yeah, Tyler, you're so incredibly versatile. How do you decide what you're going to swim this summer? I know this is a very important swimmer as it sets up the next couple years, but what have you and Coach Marsh talked about as far as the events that you're going to swim?
You know, we really haven't even approached that conversation yet. More than anything, I mean, we're learning a lot about each other still, and this has really been a learning experience, this meet, because now we're starting to kind of develop a language that both of us can use effectively in practice, and you know, we've got a lot to work towards moving into Charlotte, and we'll start having that conversation as far as what events I'll swim.
That was a great race there. Well, congratulations, super race there.
Thank you.
Tyler Clary showing that versatility, what he's done here in Mesa. 3rd in the 400 free, 2nd in the 200 back, won the 400 IM, and now by 1/100th of a second wins the men's 200-meter fly.